This NBA player, when shaking hands with Barack Obama, showed no less presence, as he is the absolute definition of an NBA player successfully transitioning into business. He is Andre Iguodala. His career salary was not among the highest, yet he appeared on the cover of the world-renowned business magazine Bloomberg Businessweek, because up to now he has invested in more than 50 companies, with an extremely high success rate. Under the guidance of his mother, he developed a cautious personality from an early age. He only started playing basketball in his junior year of high school, and because he feared he might not make it to the NBA, he always studied diligently in academics, especially excelling in science and engineering, developing a humble and research-oriented academic spirit. Fortunately, in 2004, Iguodala was selected 9th overall by the Philadelphia 76ers, and his humble personality also won the favor of Allen Iverson, as they shined together for a time. After 2011, the media began frequently reporting bankruptcy news of Iverson, which made Iguodala suddenly recognize the harsh reality. One day he too would go from high income to zero income, and he had to seriously consider how to have a source of income after retirement. According to ESPN's official data, 60% of players go bankrupt within 5 years of retirement, and Shawn Kemp was one of the most famous cautionary tales. In 2012, when the 76ers pulled off the 8th seed upset in the NBA playoffs, Iguodala joined the Dream Team and participated in the London Olympics. During breaks between basketball games, Iguodala invited teammate Jrue Holiday to watch women's soccer together. When Holiday came to Iguodala's room, his expression seemed off. Iguodala thought he was nervous about watching his fiancée's match. But Holiday told Iguodala he had been traded, because in the deal involving Dwight Howard and Andrew Bynum, Iguodala was traded to the Denver Nuggets. Iguodala was completely stunned. Just minutes earlier, he had texted head coach Doug Collins, who told him that next season he would be heavily relied upon. And suddenly Iguodala found out he had been traded. After serving the team for 8 years, he was gone just like that, and even the news of leaving was told to him by a teammate. Coincidentally, Iguodala's first game with the Nuggets was against the Philadelphia 76ers. When his name was called, Iguodala was met with prolonged boos from his former home crowd. He himself felt helpless. He was not the one who asked to be traded. Arriving in Denver, Iguodala gained a deeper understanding of professional basketball. Because Denver was a small market team, their financial situation was different from big cities like New York or Los Angeles. For a team like the Nuggets, going over the salary cap was impossible at that time unless they had championship-level results like the Nikola Jokic era now. Otherwise, they wouldn't pay a single dollar in luxury tax. Meanwhile, big market teams didn't care about that at all. So Iguodala also keenly realized that being traded to Denver in a contract year was an equal opportunity for both sides. If he played well, he could earn a big contract. If not, the team could simply clear salary space. Just as Iguodala and the Nuggets were on their way to the best season in franchise history, the unexpected happened. On April 4, 2013, with only 6 games left in the regular season, Danilo Gallinari tore his ACL and was out for the season. In the first round of the playoffs, the 3rd-seeded Nuggets met the 6th-seeded Golden State Warriors. The Nuggets became the stepping stone for Stephen Curry's glorious career. And in that series, Iguodala produced the best playoff numbers of his career, averaging 18 points, 8 rebounds, 5.3 assists, and 2 steals. In the offseason, Iguodala unsurprisingly became a free agent. And in that free agent market, every player's fate depended on one man, Dwight Howard. Iguodala first negotiated with the Sacramento Kings, who offered him the biggest contract of his career, but they gave him only 5 minutes to decide. This made the always cautious Iguodala walk away from the deal. Next, Mark Jackson and the Warriors front office met with Iguodala. The conversation went well, but the money was a bit short. After the meeting, Iguodala thought the Warriors probably wouldn't come back again. So the Dallas Mavericks became the frontrunners, with agent Rob Pelinka and Mark Cuban already agreeing on a very attractive number. Iguodala had even started house hunting in Dallas. But there was one problem: they all had to wait for Howard's final decision. By July 5th, with Howard still undecided, Iguodala had to think about his own future. In the end, he joined the Golden State Warriors. This move not only brought Iguodala to the peak of his playing career but also opened another door for him. In his first year with the Warriors, they lost to the Clippers in Game 7 of the first round. Only a few hours after the season ended, Iguodala found out on Twitter that head coach Mark Jackson had been fired. The new head coach was Iguodala's older alum, Steve Kerr. On the last day of training camp, the senior alumnus Steve Kerr pulled Iguodala aside and told him that he had earned a spot in the starting lineup. But Kerr then added that for the sake of the team's second unit, he had no choice but to have him come off the bench. And just like that, Iguodala sat on the bench for the very first time in his career. In the 2014-15 season, Iguodala spent the year adapting to his new bench role, while the Warriors set a franchise-best 67 wins in the regular season. Yet Iguodala never really found his rhythm until the finals, when they trailed the Cavaliers 2-1. In Game 4, Kerr made a bold adjustment, moving Draymond Green to center and pairing Iguodala with Harrison Barnes on the wing. Iguodala became the man tasked with defending LeBron James. That decision helped Iguodala, the younger alum, and Kerr, the older alum, bring home the championship together. After winning the championship, when the newly appointed NBA commissioner Adam Silver announced the finals MVP, everyone was stunned.
Andre Iguodala!
The 73-win Warriors were reversed in the finals, then recruited Kevin Durant to secure back-to-back championships. But for Iguodala, the most important thing about joining the Warriors wasn't just winning titles. Off the court, he had already begun planning his new life. As early as 2007, Iguodala was still a financial novice. Back then, he only met with his financial advisor once a year, didn't know whether his investments were earning or losing money, and still had to pay the advisor fees as usual, until he met a venture capitalist named Rudy Klein Thomas, who convinced him to put in $500,000. With this investment, Andre Iguodala first bought 2 stocks. Because he was an athlete, he bought Nike, and because he was a devoted Apple user, he bought Apple. Later, his partner Rudy moved to the Bay Area. Surrounded by investment heavyweights there, Iguodala realized that he was still just like any ordinary retail investor, a beginner. Buying a bit of public stock meant sometimes making a little profit, but often selling right before a rise or buying right before a drop. Soon, he began studying those newly developed startup apps on Apple's iPhone. When their stock prices jumped from just a few cents per share to dozens of dollars, he realized that this was real investing. Everything before had just been child's play. By 2014, after joining the Golden State Warriors, Iguodala cut out much of the communication barriers and began learning directly from local venture capital firms. But it quickly became clear that fame on the basketball court carried no weight at the negotiating table. But clearly, fame on the basketball court didn't help him at the negotiating table. Most venture capital firms rejected him, until one finally agreed to help and introduced him to many concepts of the investment world. Iguodala's earliest investment was in a company called ThredUp, a second-hand clothing store. The store initially sold women's apparel but wanted to expand into men's clothing. Iguodala's arrival not only brought them traffic but also saw him serve as the fashion director for menswear. The company was later acquired by eBay. From this investment onward, Iguodala developed an entire investment strategy. Unlike some athletes who made massive single investments or bought stable financial products, he stuck to a cautious strategy, investing small amounts annually in startups from trending industries, usually $25,000 to $150,000 each. Although this field seemed high return but extremely risky to outsiders, for Iguodala, this was real stable investing. With access to elite Silicon Valley networks, he could easily get first-hand information to better predict new trends, essentially profiting from information gaps. And even if a trend failed, his diversified investments spread the risk, and any small losses were bearable. As long as he hit one big winner, it could offset all other risks. So in 2015, he invested in 15 companies, focusing on sports tech, fashion, and beauty markets, and by 2018 that number had grown to 25. After 7 years of accumulation, he has now invested in 55 companies, with 3 becoming industry leaders. First, the e-commerce platform Jumia, known as the Amazon of Africa. Second, Zoom, which made him famous in the business world. In the so-called disastrous 2020 US stock market, the demand for remote work sent Zoom's stock soaring 80% in just 4 months, with its market value once exceeding $20.4 billion. Third, PagerDuty, a technology development company that provides AI-driven operations services for enterprises, whose IPO saw its stock price soar by 59% and its market value rise to $2.8 billion. After establishing himself in technology, Iguodala also moved into his more familiar field of sports. He teamed up with old teammates Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson to form a golf team, competing in Tiger Woods' Golf League. He also purchased the historic English club Leeds United. Now officially retired, Iguodala is set to manage an investment fund of over $200 million. At the same time, as the newly appointed acting executive director of the Players Union, Iguodala will continue advancing player welfare. One could say Iguodala's career was perfect. Not only did he earn enough money and win nearly every championship honor as a player, but he quickly became a team owner after retiring. Such a life winner is rare, even in the NBA.